Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's movie has approximately 11 total jump scares in its entire 1 hour and 50-minute runtime, perhaps a bit of an underwhelming number within that frame, especially for a movie adapting a game series reliant on them. Most of the plot actually takes place outside the doomed pizza place, with the narrative direction more focused on the emotional story of a brother and sister being ripped from each other. And out of those 11, only 2 or 3 are actually frightening and might make you jump. Most of the time, they don't land as such and are pretty predictable and tame compared to the game. Here are all the jump scares in detail, so you'll know when to expect them. Five Nights at Freddy's starts off with quite a tense build-up. You watch in suspense as Freddy Fazbear's current security guard attempts to escape via the room's vent as the deadly animatronics are trying to bust open the blockaded entrance. Just barely past the 1-minute mark, and the film already throws in a jump scare. While the guard is getting the screws off as hurriedly as he can, a sharp thud is heard from the animatronic trying to open the door, and a foldable chair slides down the piles of objects the guard put to block their way in. This is like the appetizer jump scare to the animatronic ones that follow from this point on. You get a paranormal hello from Freddy Fazbear as Mike attentively watches the training video on the first day of his new security gig. The employee leading the training gets to the part of introducing the animatronic team gracing the stage of Fazbear's Pizza when the video starts to receive some terrible static. In a flash, Freddy's face jumps into the camera frame, similar to how it's done in the games. Balloon Boy is the recurring jump scare throughout the film. When Josh Hutcherson's character proceeds to open up the security room's locker, the toy figure of Balloon Boy is waiting inside, with the camera cutting to a quick close-up of the creepy face joined by a sharp note intended to make the audience jump along with the actor. Naturally, he closes the locker and opens it again to see if Balloon Boy has disappeared or if he's seeing things. With Balloon Boy still there, Mike changes his position by turning the toy around so the face doesn't scare him the next time. The fourth jump scare comes almost immediately after the Balloon Boy one, though it is much lighter and less jumpy. Mike now moves on from the security room to explore the main arcade and dining area of the pizza establishment, only to have his attention quickly turned to the stage. There's a harsh sound of objects clattering from that direction, and Mike points his flashlight toward the sounds, a classic jump scare trope in horror movies. He then approaches the stage to lift the curtain, coming face to face with the possessed idol animatronics. The movie focuses a lot on dreams and gives a nod to dream theory, particularly the recurring nightmare Josh Hutcherson's character Mike has with the kidnapping of his younger brother, Garrett. They're at a family picnic in the park when, all of a sudden, Garrett finds himself in the back of a vehicle, scared and helpless as he's being driven away. And Mike can't do anything but watch. This gets tied to another jump scare early on in Mike's new position at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria when he falls asleep at his desk, and the kids possessing the animatronics show up in the dream. As Foxy digs the hook into Mike's arm in the real world, a screaming red-haired kid with black tears flowing down his eyes turns around and slashes the same arm in the dream world. Chica gets in on the jump scare action, starting with Cupcake playing hide-and-seek with a nefarious vandal who's part of the crew to wreck the abandoned pizza establishment and jeopardize Mike's custody of his sister. It starts with the character opening the fridge door in the kitchen to reveal a Cupcake animatronic before it disappears. When it reappears, Chica has it in her hands and is already behind the character, launching Cupcake into the air to eat at the person's face. It's a scene that feels like one of those classic jump scare moments and ends with a pretty gruesome visual. Jeff is the ringleader of the vandals and boyfriend of the babysitter for Mike's sister Abby, who's secretly working with their aunt to ensure Abby is removed from Mike. Jeff gets what's coming to him from Foxy while trying to escape after witnessing what happened to his other associates. Foxy stands at the other end of a hallway near the security room while Jeff is trying for the exit door, and the lights go out momentarily. Cue a close-up of an enraged Foxy dashing toward the camera, implied to kill Jeff. Immediately following Jeff's demise is babysitter Max's demise, which turns out to be the goriest part of the movie. This also marks the last jump scare that may truly scare you and leave you feeling horrified. The setup is a child ghost leading Max to a room where Freddy Fazbear stands motionless, with a chair placed in front of the animatronic. As Max stands on the chair and peers into Freddy's mouth, a child's hand pops out at her, and then you see a shadow of her getting pulled inside and her torso coming off Mortal Kombat style. This is definitely one of the creepiest and most effective jump scares the film has to offer, alongside the crying kid. Turns out that repositioning Balloon Boy in the locker failed to deter the second jump scare of his. This time around, the little toy manages to get outside the locker to sit on a shelf inside the supply closet of the security room. The toy's new location almost goes unseen by Mike, though he eventually catches it out of the corner of his eye, and the camera instantly zooms in on that face again with a loud sound cue to startle you. Balloon Boy might get you a second time, just as he gets Mike once again in the security room. This jump scare is the classic surprise passenger in the rearview mirror, and it happens when Golden Freddy comes to collect Abby at her house to take her to the pizza place in the final act of the film. While you're aware of who's with Abby in the back seat, the cab driver is completely caught off guard. He hears some passengers getting into his cab, so he peers at the rearview mirror, which reveals a shot of the creepy Golden Freddy up close in the mirror paired with a sharp note. This becomes the final and most mild jump scare before the credits. There is a post-credit scene in Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's not some story tease for a potential sequel like you'd expect. It's instead another jump scare with Balloon Boy that happens to the cab driver, who's actually YouTuber Korix Kenshin, and who'll probably want to SSS Samurai Slice the Balloon Boy action figure. There's a knock on the window followed by an opening of the car door, and the next thing you know, Balloon Boy somehow ends up in the passenger seat again. There's one final close-up of the toy's creepy stare to close out the movie and send Korix Kenshin's character comically freaking out.